here's the part of our conversation where some listeners may get triggered by what I have to share. May. I'm not assuming that they will, but let's just say may. Okay. To be clear, before I answer your question, my organization, which is called Alcohol Free Lifestyle and is known affectionately as AFL, we are the exact opposite of AA, rehab, sobriety, recovery, right? The opposite. Now, I applaud the mission of AA. You asked me about AA specifically. I applaud the mission. However, I have done intense research on the effectiveness of AA. And there are repeated studies that seem to demonstrate that AA's actual success rate of people getting long term power over drinking is less than 7%. Now, it's very challenging to prove that because you've got to, interview AA people. You've got to determine whether they're answering truthfully or not, etc. But many studies over many years seem to suggest that the actual success rate is about 7%. Now, if the success rate of AA is 7%, that means the failure rate of AA is 93%, right? Now, by comparison, not equal comparison, and I'll explain that in a second. By comparison, our methodology at AFL, we have this methodology called Project 90, right? And it's 90 days where we help rewire your mindset around alcohol. In 2023, the University of Washington and the University of Florida conducted a joint scientific study on our Project 90 stop drinking process, the result of which was a 98% reduction in drinking. So participants who went in there, 98% reduction in drinking. Now, again, we're not comparing apples to apples here. It's slightly different because the 7% success rate of AA is based over the course of a year, whereas the 98% success rate of our program is based over 90 days, right? So it's 4 times less duration of time. But still, even accounting for that, that is a huge discrepancy. Like that's a monster difference, right? Now, why is that? You asked me about AA. Here's why I think AA is incredibly ineffective for most people. It's dark, depressing. It's got you thinking about the past. You're lamenting. You're in shame. You regret. You've got to drive to a meeting, sit around a circle. You've got to say, "Hi, my name's Frank and I'm an alcoholic," when you probably don't even feel like you're an alcoholic. You're sitting next to a 17-year-old meth addict who holds up gas stations. How do you relate to that person? You can't, because you're a middle aged, successful guy who takes care of his health because you're listening to the Superhuman Life podcast right now and you're focused on self-development. You're trying to be better. And now you're sitting next to a bunch of people who are going, "My life sucks. I've messed up my life. Everything's terrible. Hey, everyone, throw in $1 for the coffee." Who wants to be there? Nobody really wants to be in a damn AA meeting, right? And you're going there because you feel like you have to. Then when you're in there, you've got to surrender to a higher power and say, "I'm powerless over this disease and this addiction." Bullshit for most people. Now, I absolutely acknowledge that AA has helped millions of people, if not tens of millions of people, for decades. They've done an incredible service to society by helping people. But they've also done an incredible disservice, I would submit, to most people who've tried it because it's outdated, antiquated, stuck in the past, completely undesirable and ineffective for most people, right? Our program is fun. Well, at least we make it as fun as it can be, right? It's empowering. We're inspiring people to choose what they want, not to avoid what they don't want. We're getting people in a like-minded community. Our clients are business owners, entrepreneurs, folks who are in their 30s and 40s. We don't accept meth addicts holding up gas stations. Like, we've curated a like-minded community because there's this great book called The Power of Habit by Charles C. Duhigg, in which he says change becomes probable when you put like-minded people in a group with a common goal. So in Project 90, our program, we put like-minded business owners, executives, successful people, affluent in many cases, articulate. We put them in a group with a common goal of rewiring their mindset around alcohol, and we make it fun and collaborative and empowering. That is why I submit we have a 98% reduction in drinking success rate versus something like AA, which doesn't. That's my answer.
Yeah, and I don't think that's going to trigger, or it shouldn't trigger, at least any of our regular listeners. Now, if somebody's finding the episode for the first time, doesn't know who Coach Frank is, doesn't know what Rebuild Recovery's mission is about, that might have kind of perked them up a little bit. But for the guys that have been here for a while, everything you shared there runs parallel with everything I've talked about, why these same type of approaches in porn recovery won't work. It's a victim mindset. It's a limiting belief system. It's absent of real growth towards a future common goal. It's absent of a real supportive, like-minded community. We've done the same thing. Like, there is a qualifying application-based process. We have a few tiers of programs that we can get people into. Our highest, obviously, tiers for the guys that are, doing better well financially. They're going to get more intimate touch with me. They're going to get, more of a curated kind of like-minded group of community. More masterminding kind of takes place in there. But there's going to be this curation where, like you said, we're not going to allow the guy that's a sexual predator, and we're not going to allow the guy that's watching pedophilic pornography, right? That's not our community. We want the guys that are driven, want more, but have this vice in their life, and we're going to help you live free of that. So I loved all that, and I support 100% of it. We talked about, like, your goal is helping them over the course of 90 days kind of like rewire their mindsets, which I'm thinking is probably the relationship that they hold with pornography. Obviously, getting into the 90-day program is the best place to go if these guys are, looking to kind of take some action here. But for somebody that is hearing this conversation, they're like, James, you're opening my eyes up, man. I am that one drink a night type of guy. Or, hey, man, you know what? I'm willing to test this out, man. Your story resonates with me. I'm willing to see what 90 days of my life absent of alcohol can look like. What's the first step or first two steps that the guys can take after hearing this today to begin working towards rewiring their mindset or their relationship with alcohol?
Well, a couple places you can find me just with free resources. I have this podcast called Alcohol Free Lifestyle Podcast. You can find it in Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Website is alcoholfreelifestyle.com. You can go there and check out. There's some free training videos. In fact, if you go to alcoholfreelifestyle.com/training, there's a free training video there as well. So at least do that. Like, listen to a few of the episodes on my podcast, because that'll help to get you in the conversation and thinking and about and pondering this. Okay. Um, Even if you don't do that, like, because I don't want this just to be a big kind of marketing advertising push for me and my services. So let's just say that you're like, I like this James guy, he's pretty cool, but no, I'm going to go and do this on my own. Then what I would suggest is get a group of guys together to do this, and get like-minded guys together and create a WhatsApp group or a Telegram group or whatever, and have a start date and try to get to at least 90 days together. Not 30 days, because when you do 30 days, you're kind of waiting for day 30. And what are you going to do on day 30? Celebrate with a drink, right? And whereas 90 days, you've broken the habit, you've experienced enough change now. Your skin looks better, you're sleeping better, you're having sex better, you're more present. All of these things can change noticeably over 90 days, whereas 30 days, you're kind of like, I just got to get to 30 days. So if you don't do anything with, let's just say, with professional services, get a bunch of like-minded guys together in a Telegram or WhatsApp group and support each other and just go for it, right? While listening to podcast episodes or watching YouTube videos on how to stop drinking, and practicing good nutrition and conscious communication, because it's that accountability that's really, really important. I would submit getting the accountability plus coaching, plus having it be fun, plus the community. And then also, I would say, having skin in the game. Candidly, our stop drinking program is thousands of dollars. And we do that for many reasons, but most importantly is because if something's free, you don't pay attention. But when you pay attention, right? So that skin in the game is a huge piece of it. You want to put something down that says, I'm committed to this. It's a symbol of seriousness, Frank, right? It's like, I am committing to this thing, and I'm going to see it through until I am complete. Not near enough is good enough. Not I drank once on day 17, so that hardly really counts. No, it's like you're alcohol free for at least 90 days with coaching, with accountability, having it being fun, with skin in the game that calls you to a higher level. The other thing I would just say, even if you don't do that, even if you don't get a bunch of guys together and do it yourself, and you're just going to do it on your own because I don't know, maybe you're stubborn or maybe you just believe that you can. That is, before you go out, just look yourself in the mirror and just say, I'm going to have the most fun tonight while drinking soda water, ice, and a piece of lime. I'm going to be the most engaging. I'm going to laugh. I'm going to dance on tables. I'm going to introduce people. I'm just going to love living this alcohol free lifestyle. And just say it to yourself and then go out there and embody that and do that. And you will be shocked at how little people care that you're not drinking and how easy it actually is in hindsight to go out there and live alcohol free if you just intentionally make that commitment.